Quick question. Do your end users always, and I mean always, without exception, work on company-owned devices and IT-approved apps? I didn't think so. So my next question is, how do you keep your company's data safe when it's sitting on all those unmanaged apps and devices? 1Password has an answer to this question: Extended Access Management. 1Password Extended Access Management helps you secure every sign-in for every app on every device because it solves the problems traditional IAM and MDM can't touch. Check it out at securityweekly.com/1Password.
On the Security Weekly News, I try to scan and produce a quick look at some of the major stories to help you keep up with what's going on in and around the industry in a short format. Myself, Aaron Leyland, Josh Marpet, and other guest commentators provide greater insight every week. I'm Doug White, and I hope that you'll look for the Security Weekly News in all of your favorite podcast catchers and subscribe for the latest content.
Welcome back, everyone, to Paul's Security Weekly. A quick announcement before we get started. We're always looking for great guests for all the Security Weekly shows. You can submit your suggestions by visiting securityweekly.com/guests and completing the form. I think here on Paul's Security Weekly, we're looking for technical security researchers. Is probably tops on my list of the types of people that we like to have on the show. So go ahead and hit the form, securityweekly.com/guests. In this segment, we are covering things not to miss at Black Hat, DEF CON, and Bsides Las Vegas this year. I've got some Paul Security Weekly hosts with me. I've got Bill Swearingen here with us.
Hey,
Bill,
Paul.
welcome.
It's been a busy week at Black Hat so far.
I know, right?
I'm real tired. It's been great. It's been great. But thanks for having me.
Yes. Mandy Logan, welcome.
Well, thank you. Good evening. I know, like you already missed. I peaked. We already peaked yesterday at whole summer camp. It's over.
Yeah, so we're pre-recording this and it'll air middle of the week. So most of the time we go back and watch the talks after the conference anyway. Mr. Jeff Mann is here with us.
I'm here. I just don't know when I am.
Where you are, when, and
That's very
what.
I didn't say where.
Jeff.
I said when. I don't know when I am.
Special guest Mr. Trent Lowe is here with us. Trent, welcome.
Hey, how's it going? It's been a minute.
I see you got the memo. Black Hat and DEF CON party shirt.
That's
is
right.
The official attire for this segment. So
yeah, I didn't go as far as back as the old school shirt that you have there. That's the OG.
This is the only DEF CON party shirt that I have. Well, I have another one just like this because I stole two when you guys gave me boxes of them last time.
There's a funny story behind that.
Yeah, so tell us about DEF CON parties. Like, I always thought, so just from my perspective, that it was kind of like you had to know Bill and Trent, and then they kind of let you in on like the DEF CON parties thing. And I don't know what it is like today, but at least in years past, if you hung out with Bill and Trent, you could pretty much get into whatever party that you wanted. Like, I had a free pass to all. If I hung out with you guys, I was drinking a lot and really tired the next day, and we went to a lot of parties, and we did that quite a few years.
Yeah.
So quality time, man. But what is DEF CON parties?
Well, I think it was around 2009. Bill and I were hanging out at DEF CON, and we kind of quickly realized that there was a lot of parties going on, but a lot of people didn't know, what the what was, in all those parties. So we decided to start a Twitter account, and that usually goes like, we should do this, and Bill's like, okay, I got the Twitter account, now what? And so that's kind of how it all just spiraled into. We started.
So Bill said, "I have the Twitter account. Trent, you should do all the work now."
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
That's how I remember it.
That's how our business models work. It's just that we come up with the idea, and Bill gets the Twitter account, and then So we had the Twitter account, and we started making a calendar, and there was one year that we decided we weren't going to do the calendar, but man, we got hella backlash for that. So we quickly started the calendar because people are like, this is great. This is how I use it. I just, add those calendar events to my calendar, and it works. Well, we really didn't even understand like how people were using the product. And, they're interesting enough, you're right. People tend to just think that DEF CON parties is, if you know Bill and Trent, they're going to, take care of you and bring you to all these parties. But really, we did have it advertised, through Twitter and things like that. So we've been known as the NSA of party list, because a lot of companies will reach out to us and say, like, hey, could you take us off the list? We're like, not going to happen. Or or people's like private rooms show up there just because I have scripts and bots and things, like a lot of automation that's looking for these parties, and people are just blown away that their party shows up on the calendar. They're just like, I, I don't even know how you got a hold of our party, but please take it down. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you've
should
always had the inside scoop on the parties.
probably
Yes.
tell them, like, yeah, how do you what is, so what is DEF CON parties? How does anybody access it?
Yeah, so really you just need a corporate email, and it's you voluntarily subscribe to spam, you put your email in there, and vendors invite you to their party. So it's a big, right after DEF CON, they'll be like, hey, thanks for showing up to your party, even though you didn't show up to their party. They'll just go ahead and send you that email. But essentially, we have a list of parties out there. You go out there, pick the days that that you're going to be at DEF CON or Black Hat. Majority, you'll see a lot of the vendor parties focus around Wednesday. I think we're tracking like around like 140 some odd different parties right now. But if you go to defconparties.com, Bill's been working on some pretty slick logic here, where you can click a party that you're interested in. It'll also build you an agenda. So as you find things that you're interested, you subscribe, you put in your information, you'll have a better chance of getting into a party if you're using a corporate email versus your Gmail. So you'll find like a lot of people that have their own LLC to kind of get around all the spam, and a lot of fake
Don't be
Google
selling,
phone
don't be
number. Yeah.
giving secrets out. What are you?
But
Yeah, yeah. So I think one of the things that really stood out to me, Trent, like over the years, we'd go to parties and they would be at some of the coolest places in Las Vegas and have like special guests, and nobody would show up, right? Like,
Mhm.
and so like I think really early on we recognized it truly is like people probably just don't know that these things are existing, right? And so and I think what you said is really apt, and people, over the years it's become a pretty you have a pretty interesting system to find and track, and you're I wouldn't say you're using hacker techniques, but you're not to find
there's
these parties and list them out completely for free for anybody to see, and hopefully get some attention and bring more people to those
See,
events, right?
I thought it was just something you guys created so you both could get free food and booze.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure.
that's
But
not
you
is that what
kinda
we're
hinted
doing?
towards but you hinted towards that it actually helps the vendors because you went to some parties and no one showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we actually kind of experiment with it. Like sometimes we'll like, let's not post this party and see what it looks like. And then
Mm.
the following year, like let's post it. Like some vendors are like, hey, why aren't you posting? Like they'll just directly, like, hey, it's that time of the year. Why aren't we on the calendar? And I'm like, oh well, here's a link. You can help me, fill this out, and we can add it. So they're
Mm.
like on the actual website. So if you find something that we don't have listed, you can help the community by submitting it. And then we have some automation where I'll look at it to make sure it's not you're trying to sell something, because a lot of people actually want to list things on the calendar that which really cost money, or they're like, hey, come to our paid party, stuff like that.
So Trent, there's a lot of parties listed on the website. And my question is what how do you know what party's good? Like what makes a good party? Like help us choose. Help us navigate.
Is there a Yelp rating associated with the parties?
Right.
So in previous years, I usually like will tweet out, the top parties. We used to track all the click rankings and all that, but it just kind of became a nuisance just because ever since Elon, said that there's no free API. Everyone else has followed suit. So
Yeah.
the company we were using, but some of the bigger ones, you'll just need to look for the big names. Like I think the biggest one is going to be Optiv on
Mhm.
Wednesday. That's probably the collective monster party. There are a handful of others. I think into Thursday there's a Hackastan. They're having a fairly decent sized party as well. So hopefully you're out there subscribing and you get an invite. So kind of the fun part is also it's a hacker convention. So sneak in, figure out the privilege escalation.
Right. Yeah. So
I,
is it like size of party, size of vendor, venue, that kind of thing that goes into the what makes a good party?
Yeah, it just depends on what you're interested in. I mean, because there could be some low key stuff that's fun. I mean, you
Mhm.
you might be, I don't know, racing a car, or maybe you're just hanging out in a suite and they're doing poker or something like that. There's so much out there, which is great because you'll just find the things that you're interested in. But the bigger ones are going to have a lot more fun just because you'll have big name DJs and all the drinks that you can try to handle up until the point where you make a mess. So
Up until the point when you pass out, and then there's
yes.
selfies being taken with Jeff Moss and you. Not that
Oh
that
yes,
happens
there.
in one of
Yeah,
our
oh, I
bands.
remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Darren. Darren,
I
wherever
know,
you are.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like you met Jess Moss last night. He's like, what?
Yeah, and then we showed him the pictures. Yeah, don't do that. So be careful when you go to parties is the
It's true.
PSA and drinking and all that stuff,
Yeah.
but also on a, like, more positive thing, it's a great networking, opportunity. Just go to a party and maybe you
Mhm.
really don't know anyone at the party, just go and mingle and hang out.
Yeah.
I've found it to be great networking opportunities.
Yeah, you
You
can
know, and
buy
a lot
people
of
drinks that
yeah.
are free
Right?
that you're gonna have to pay for.
Mm,
But I was gonna say, I'm just jump in real quick here. Even if you don't know anybody, go. Like the hacker community is very
Yeah.
approachable. If and
mm.
especially like in those offsite like or those party situations. If there's somebody that you want to meet, just go up, say hello. Introduce yourself, tell them what you're interested in. Generally speaking, the hacker community is pretty open about those kind of things, right? So, but that's how you meet people. I mean, that Paul, like that's how kind of how we all met, right? You
Right.
just go and meet people. So yeah. So Trent, before we move on to Black Hat, there's some big news about DEF CON parties this year, right? Like I could,
Yeah.
for one, like we're in Hacker Tracker this year.
Yes, we're
Oh,
working with
wow.
DEF CON this year. So yeah, we've built another like component of the automation to extract the links and provide those over to the Hacker Tracker team that's loading them into the Hacker Tracker itself. So yeah, you should if you're using the Hacker Track app for Black at DEF CON B-Sides, you can see that there's a private party list out there. Or you could check out our Twitter. I kind of have a link out there. You can kind of see what that looks like.
Mandy, you had a
I
question?
have a question. Oh,
Go
Mandy
ahead.
Wait,
first.
all right.
Ladies first.
Mandy, then Jeff.
Oh, thanks. No, it was kind of a continuation of what Bill was saying for those who maybe haven't attended, especially DEF CON proper. Um, I also would not knock the actual official DEF CON parties. There's the quiet parties, there's things that are adjusted and I think if you are someone who's very socially reserved, those are kind of a really easy entry point. I think it's like it's more structure because you're at the actual venue, you're at DEF CON, and it's very easy. I remember some of my first parties were, from the villages, or they were official parties, or they were ones that I felt I was not going to be over my head jumping into the party scene
Mhm.
and feel completely lost.
It's going to be an interesting year. We're a new venue, so I've heard mixed reviews,
Yeah.
but for the most part, I've heard that there's a lot of space. So hopefully, we'll be able to take advantage of that, and it won't be as crazy as previous years, just based on the location. The rooms look fairly big, and the parties go fairly late. It's just, when I was just looking at the party list, some of them I saw went to 2 a.m. and I know better
Hmm.
than Priest doesn't let parties go past 2 p. So they're getting shut down at like 1. He's like, nope. He's like, I'm going to bed, so all of you are going to bed. So
Mm,
it'll be interesting to see those parties, that even the quiet ones. They just got the chill out lounge. So absolutely, you should definitely look, because we're actually listed some of the DEF CON parties on our list as well. So yeah, absolutely, check out the quiet area. And like Bill said, we're a hacker community.
Mhm.
These are your peers, these are your friends, so you can always come up to us and just say, hey, like what's good. We try to like point people in the direction of like where things are happening, but for the most part, like just enjoy yourself. Just got to get out there and talk to people.
I know
Oh, and
a
then
lot
So,
of people
oh,
don't go
I
to go
I
ahead,
had
Jeff, sorry.
I had a question, Paul. Um, do you have listed perchance the pool party that's Saturday night that's put on by the AI Village and the Blue Team Village?
It should be out there. If it's an official party through DEF CON, it's probably out there. But if it's not, you could always help us out. There's a link on the DEF CON parties page where you can submit a party, and we can get that added.
Well, just in case you heard it here first, part of the festivities at this pool party is a contest called Dunk a Fed, and it's actually a fundraiser. And they said former feds are qualified, so they asked me to participate. So I'm
Oh,
bringing my official towel. So I am ready to
Nice.
be dunked
Nice.
as a former fed at the pool party. You heard
and
it
I
here
would
I have
pay
first,
to
my
dunk
folks.
official
you.
B-sides towel. Huh?
All right. Well, I'll make sure all the information gets sent over so we can put it in the show notes and
Yeah, we'll
post
we'll
it out
tweet
on
that out
social
as
media.
well. That
And
sounds
you
fun.
should pay
Kind of.
dearly to dunk me, Bill.
Yeah, I will. I will.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to say too, for those if they're attending and not used to jumping into the vendor parties, again, B-sides has an awesome pool party. There's other ones at B-sides themselves, and I think it's also fascinating because there's so many parties that have games or things that you need to do and get the challenge coins, get solve the things to find out where to go, and it's mentally intriguing as well as a lot of fun and easy way to meet people.
The Caesar Challenge is one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if
those are.
Hacker One doing a challenge this year for their party?
I don't know.
I don't know. I know
No?
that
Okay.
it's at the S bar.
Yeah, I
One of the
see
like
the one they have listed
fish
here, but
bowls.
usually I thought there was one that was like more hidden. It's okay.
Does IO Active used to do a big pool party? Not
Yeah,
anymore though, right?
they're doing like some sweets now.
Mhm.
It's funny as like the Rapid 7 used to be the monster party.
Yeah.
Um and then before that was like iDefense, and I'm trying to think of any others that used to have crazy parties.
So where's the big so Optiv is the big crazy party this year?
Yeah, I'd say Optiv, and then the is it Pantrax that's on Thursday? I think it's at the Hackistan.
Yeah.
Nice. So do you guys go to talks during the conferences?
It depends.
Try
You know,
to.
so
I try and get to at least a couple,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we established parties are great for networking, free food and booze, um, getting your party on. But I also try and go to a few talks. I don't know how many are going to Black Hat this year. I'm not going to any of it this year because I'm lame. But a couple of the keynotes I thought at Black Hat were interesting. Jen Easterly and a bunch of other folks are talking about the fight to secure elections around the world, which I think will be really interesting. As well as like I really want to go to the fireside chat with Jeff Moss and Moxie Marlinspike. Um, I think largely it's a security and privacy. Yeah, the trade offs between security and privacy. I mean, just to have those two people talking about privacy is super interesting to me. Like, I'd love for them to come on. That'll be like one of my dream interviews for them to come on the show and talk about that with us, right?
Hmm.
So I think that's really cool.
So I kind of think like, every year has its ups and downs about, the talks, and just looking at the talks at Black Hat, B-sides, and DEF CON this year. I saw a lot of talks in there that I think are going to be great. I think this is going to be a great
I
year
agree.
for talks. Like, there were a lot in there that I saw really interesting as well.
Yeah, one
So,
of our sponsors, Threat Locker, Danny Jenkins, has given a main stage keynote understanding and reducing supply chain and software vulnerability risks. But we really like Threat Locker. Like it was one of the interviews that came on. And we're like, oh, like I'd buy that product,
Yeah.
right? Like that's a resounding endorsement. So cool that he's giving a talk. That's on Wednesday at 12:40 p.m.
hey, there's a couple talk things that are different this year. I was hoping maybe some of you in the know people could comment on them. First is the return of Sky Talks. Maybe Mandy wants to say something about that.
Sure, I could speak about that a little bit. Yeah, so Sky Talks, for those who have in the past attended DEF CON, now the Sky Talks was off the record Chatham House rules, where hackers got to share sensitive or potentially to themselves dangerous information, and had a fantastic community that would support that to get the information out there. It went away from DEF CON and is now coming back to B-Sides Las Vegas, a little bit modified. We're incredibly excited. So I am an enforcer, work with Sky Talks. I'm somewhat in the know on the staff side. And it's going to be fantastic, I think, for
Mandy,
anybody.
does
Yeah, yeah.
Sky Talks come from the sky boxes that were at the Riviera at DEF CON? Is that where the name that's where the name and the concept stems from, right?
You know what? I have heard a number of things. And so I literally will not comment. I will not add to any fake lore by chance because
Yeah.
I still don't know.
But I think
That's
at
what
the
that's where
Riv,
I
I
think
think we had
that's yeah, that's where I
yeah,
believe
we
that
had a
they came
party
from.
in one of the
That's not
skyboxes at
okay.
it was at the Riv back in the day at DEF CON.
Mhm.
I guess the question is,
Oh
were you
yeah.
supposed to be in the skyboxes at that particular time?
Yeah, no, we like rent it. I don't know what you do. We rent it? I think Bill helped us with that, right? You rented
Well,
a
the door
skybox.
was open. We figured we were
Yeah,
it was okay to go in and hang out.
we did open the doors between like 303 had a party next door, and there was
Mhm.
some lock picking involved to open the doors between the parties. It was crazy. I
I
won't
think
say anything else.
Neil came through the like the ceiling at one
It
point.
was yeah, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff we can't really talk about. It transpired.
A bunch of people got trespassed, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was strange. We could
So
tell so many stories.
shameless plug number 2 is I'll be speaking at Sky Talks. I've never done that
Nice.
before, but
Wow.
I
Nice.
Man,
will be one
Jeff
of the
is
speakers
crushing it.
there.
So when is Sky Talks at B-Sides? I'm not checking that one.
I
It
think it's
runs
Tuesday and
Tuesday and
Wednesday. I think
Wednesday.
they're yeah. And
When do
my
you talk?
talk
So
is sometime in I think it's like 2 o'clock on Wednesday. I could check the website while we're commiserating here and confirm that.
Sweet.
The other
I had to go
thing
ahead,
that's
Jeff.
kind of new. Sorry, Paul. I hate to step on you. Not really. I like doing that.
I know you
The
do.
other thing that's kind of new this year is, and I'm hoping one of you guys can elaborate. Um, Instead of just ordinary talks being given at all the various villages at DEF CON, there's now something called the creator stage. Anyone know anything about that?
So from what I understood, Jeff, and you correct me where I may miss here, is what was identified was that 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 not all the villages got the same, they would have talks and they wouldn't get the same amount of attention or people or whatever. And so what they're trying to do is consolidate those talks
Hmm.
that were given at the villages on that creator stage, just to give the presenters just more visibility in those talks. Because we've seen a shift, almost kind of like what Mandy was talking about with the Sky Talks, where a lot of the a lot of what's new and being developed, and like the more cutting edge type stuff was being done at the villages. I'm not to take anything
Hmm.
away from the talks. They're
mm,
they're great, but a lot of times there was just not enough room for people to watch a village talk, or hey, maybe somebody dropped something incredible and just nobody even really knew that was there. So
Mm.
I think that's what the problem they're trying to solve with that creator stage,
Well,
to
I
make
think
it
there's
more
a
fair.
there's so many talks being given across all three events that it's easy for a talk to get lost in the mix. I often find myself when I'm doing research or supporting research in my day job, I'm like, wait, like this was built upon because 7 years ago there was a talk at Black
Yep.
Hat, right? And like nothing really came of of it until someone did some other research and was like, oh, well, we built on that previous research. So it's
Yeah.
just it's really, amazing to see that, and so, like, my top pick, I think maybe well, at least for Black Hat this year, is a talk called "You've Already Been Hacked. What if there's a backdoor in your UEFI option ROM?" And this is like something where I've read a couple of papers and seen people do crazy things with option ROMs. I want to say it's kind of like it's like a driver that needs to send something to you EFI early in the boot process and actually executes code. It's a very poor description. Go to the talk and hopefully they have a much better description of it. But something I've looked at, I'm like, that's a really interesting area of research. And now there's going to be a whole talk on it at Black Hat. So that'll be
So
Thursday.
final shameless plug, and then I'll let you guys get back to it. I had gone to the Crypto and Privacy Village last year and thought, gee, I should be involved in this village since I sort of have a crypto background. So I talked to the organizer and made sure that I was on their radar screen for speaking this year. I thought I was just going to speak at the village, but apparently and this is what I'm not clear on, whether there's still going to be talks at all the various villages or it's just these creator stages, because apparently each village was allowed to put forth like 2 or 3 names of
Hmm.
talks that could be done at the creator stage. So I'll be on the creator stage representing the crypto and AI village. I think that's on Saturday at 5 o'clock.
Man, we're gonna need to update the app like a Jeff tracker. Like you're like,
A Jeff Tracker, I love it.
yeah, yeah,
Well, it's easy. I'm either at Casa Fuentes or Frankie's or doing
right.
one of these speaking gigs. That's pretty much it. Or there's apparently a new cigar bar that opened up. Um, the One Dark One found. She was out there scoping things out a couple months ago, and she told me about it. It's up closer to where DEF CON is, up wherever we call that area, North Vegas. So I
Yeah,
might
we,
I
we
might
can
end
we
up
could
being there as well.
we could make a new game, Bill. We could like
Yeah,
spot the Jeff and
spot the
then give away
Jeff,
some
the
prizes.
Fed.
Spot the Jeff.
Yeah, the Fed
Spot the Jeff
himself.
Fed.
So Paul, going back to something you said, there's
Mm.
talks that are going on all over the place. I think one thing that we just probably need to tell the listeners is that a lot of times, well, every year, what I do is go through and mark the talks that I would like to go to. Often what happens is something comes up. Trent tells me that I have to go, to this other party or whatever, and I don't get to see it. But a lot of times they're posted on YouTube afterwards. So Black Hat DEF CON talks are posted on YouTube, and don't forget that that a lot of times you can see these talks, not all of them, right? Some of them you have to see in
Right.
person, but
And not
uh,
right away. Usually it's like a year before Black Hat posts them online.
yeah, but I mean, but still, like there's plenty of content out there that you can watch until it gets posted. But there are days where I like on Saturday afternoon, and I just watched like 4 or 5 Black Hat or DEF CON
Mhm.
videos, and something that, oh man, I forgot that I really wanted to go see that one. And but kind of to your point, like if you're researching something or you want to talk, or or something, that's a really good place to to go watch those talks. So I had a pick as well. So for Black Hat, the one that I'm really the most excited about is predict, prioritize, and patch how Microsoft harnesses LLMs for security response. I think over the next couple years, we're going to
Mm.
see an explosion of AI incident response. Both how do you respond to AI incidents and how do you leverage AI in that response, right? So, I think for me, I was kind of having this conversation the other day. Like when you think about the way that we've handled passwords in the past, right? So, like look at CISA guidance for passwords, where we were like, hey, it needs to be at least 8 characters, up or lower, special character. What we were doing, we in the security community made a mistake, is that we were making passwords easier for computers and harder for people, right? And the new guidance is, make it, well, the only thing that matters is length, right? Make it a very long passphrase, something like that. I think we did the exact same thing with incident response. With when you think about like terabytes of log files and just event IDs and all of these kind of things. That we've made it very difficult for humans to perform incident response where we should really be leveraging our computers. And I think that this is going to the AI explosion is going to be fantastic for the security community going forward. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
I think that's going to be a really good talk, just because we hear a lot of discussion about how AI is going to be used for bad. So, you know,
Hmm.
at the same time, AI is going to also be used for good. So, the good versus evil. This is a really good talk. I think that's going to handle a lot of that. I'm also very excited about that, as well as there's a talk on insecure serialization formats. It's like, I think it's called "We Are in the Right Pickle" with all these insecure serialization formats. So I'm really excited about that, just because I am very partial to deserialization attacks. It's one of my favorite type of attacks. So I'm really excited to see where they're going to take this talk.
In a
Nice. Yeah,
pickle is such
sometimes
an
I
inside nerd joke, right? Like, yeah, I like it. Yeah.
sometimes I look at who's giving the talk too. Like there's one at Black Hat on fighting the hidden war in your bootloader, and that's Bill Demercopy. And so Bill, I interviewed years ago, 2020, and he was giving a talk before he worked for Microsoft on some like really low level exploitation stuff. And he's like, yeah, I got my start in like video games, developing like kernel exploits to get to do video game cheats.
Mm.
And then like he was just starting his career. Like I think he was in college or just out of high school at the time, and now he works for Microsoft.
Cool.
Bill's also the person who discovered vulnerabilities in shim
Oh,
that we wrote about at Eclipsium. We called it Shim Shady. Bill is the researcher that did that. So I'm curious to hear like what has progressed since then in bootloader because I'm enamored with pre OS kernel exploitation, and so your bootloader is a good spot for that. So that's definitely one of my picks for Black Hat. And then of course our own security researcher Vlad. Vlad just has like a knack for finding vulnerabilities. Like I can't describe it other than like whatever it is, like he has it.
mm.
And he will just look at stuff that like the rest of us have like beaten our heads against the wall. And he'd be like, oh, here's an exploitation path right here. Like I wrote the exploit. Like,
Cool.
dude, how do you do that? Like it's because it's Vlad.
Yeah.
Um, so Vlad's giving securing network appliances talk on Thursday, new technologies and old challenges, and we'll be disclosing some vulnerabilities in the F5 Big IP platform. So make sure you check that out. Do you guys
I was
do?
gonna say, going along,
Go ahead.
oh, the same idea, like looking at the speakers for Black Hat. There's one from Bullock.
Mm.
I always feel like I say that wrong, but um, because I call one of my brothers Bullock Lock all the time, and it becomes
Oh,
confusing to me.
Bullock.
Bullock. Graph Runner, a post exploitation toolset for Microsoft 365. And
Nice.
that's at Black Hat on Thursday at 10:10. And there's a number of other awesome briefings and arsenals, but
Yeah, arsenals
that
are
came to mind.
oftentimes where you find like really cool tools.
Hmm.
And
Um,
that's what I kind of zeroed in on this year, was looking at different things in Arsenal.
Yeah, because you don't get trapped in a talk, right? Like if you're wandering around Black Hat
Hmm.
and you just want to like, I just want to check out some cool stuff, and I don't have a lot of time because I want to go to lunch with my friends. I want to go to the cigar bar with Jeff, and then I want to go to some parties. But roam around the Arsenal area. One of the things you'll find there is a talk from Eclipsium, ironically enough, damn vulnerable UEFI. So this is a virtualized UEFI environment that has been made vulnerable on purpose. So I'm super
Cool.
excited about that
Yeah,
as
that
well
is
because
neat.
there's not a lot out there on like if you want to run in QMU UEFI, like you can, but man, there's not a lot of stuff out there. So I was happy to see our research team participating in this.
Well, speaking of speakers that you have to see, right? Like HD Moore's talking, right?
Yes,
And so not to jump into DEF CON too quick. I don't know if you want to make that cut here, but if you just anybody
there's some
out there,
overlap. Yeah, there's some
yeah,
overlap too. So like this one is a multi-headed embedded hardware interface tool called Cerberus That's being given in a Black Hat Arsenal, but there's also a talk at DEF CON.
Hmm.
And HD stuff was interesting too. Is HD just talking? Is he talking at Black Hat and DEF CON or both? I don't remember.
I'm not sure. I just saw it at the on the DEF CON one, but so if you have a chance to see HD speak, you should go. Right, like it doesn't really matter what he's talking on. I think that he's one of the greatest of all times. Right, like he's going down in the history
Yeah.
books. So you should definitely go watch him speak at DEF CON. For sure. So he's going to be talking about exposures in SSH. So I think that one
Yes.
is
I
a
think I had that on my
definitely
list. Yep.
like a
Agreed.
must
Yeah.
go.
And he talks really fast too, so you get a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
Yeah.
40 minutes worth of content, HD can deliver like at least 60 or 80 minutes worth of content.
Yeah. Definitely don't come hungover to that one, right?
No,
So
I was
yeah,
gonna say the same thing.
yeah,
You gotta be fresh for that one for sure. There's some good talks this year at Bsides Las Vegas as well. Um, what one did I like? I starred one because I'm like, I really love this. And this one's in the common ground, and this is how we accidentally became hardware hackers. It
yeah,
says follow us
yeah.
through our buddy film-esque journey through life as servers, electrical engineers, embedded firmware developers, and finally hardware hackers. Like first sentence, I'm in. Like I'm all in. I got to see this talk. Right. That's
Cool. We'll
Kyle
see you out in
Shockley
Vegas,
and
Paul.
right. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
fly in just for this talk. Kyle Shockley and Caleb Davis.
So they record those calls or those talks as well.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
not Sky Talks, but yeah.
Sky Talks and Underground are not recorded, but I think all the other grounds are recorded.
There was
Yeah,
one.
I don't know if they were doing the hotel streams as well, because I mean that is a capability. You could stay in your room and watch a lot of the talks as well.
Yeah, is that still a thing?
I don't know.
I hope so. I mean, that is a fantastic benefit.
Yeah,
It's one of
especially
the best
you
things about
wake up
staying in the
at
con hotel.
yeah, you wake up at like 8 o'clock. You're like, I'm not getting down to the conference in time. I can just sit in my
Yeah.
room and watch this.
Yeah.
I know they used to do that at DEF CON too, and it was hit or miss whether someone was hacking the
Right.
the network and
Yeah.
causing disruption, so you couldn't watch the talks. So just rounding out B-Sides Las Vegas, talking D-Bus to explore the Bluetooth landscape. Paul Wortman in Proving Ground. That sounded really super interesting. I love Bluetooth stuff, and we just covered like a D-Bus story
Mhm.
on the show with like a hilarious article about that. So that looked interesting. SteamOS apparently is really insecure, and I have a Steam Deck and I don't use it as much as I should. I need to find like a spot for it where I can have it on my desk at all times because it essentially runs Arch Linux, which is awesome. But there'll be a talk, and well, this will be in Sky Talk, so it won't be recorded. SteamOS, literally anyone with a keyboard can pwn this about vulnerabilities in SteamOS, which is awesome. Let's see. There's a cool talk on fuzzing frontiers, exploring unknown vulnerabilities using nuclei with Brendan O'Leary. That sounded interesting. And there's a really low level Mac to Mac communication layer 2 in Breaking Ground LOLs, LO level shells. That sounded really interesting as well. Layer 2 has range limitations, mainly due to broadcast domain. Some bypasses will be introduced, extend the range of layer 2 communications. That sounded interesting to me too. Anything else besides Las Vegas?
Hacking arcades for fun, man. You can't miss that one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that one sounds great. Like, so
Oh, I had that one on my list. Yeah. That sounds like an arcade like the ones we take our kids to that you get the card and
that's
you
right.
got to
Yes.
swipe it. And we've
Hmm.
all seen there's always one that is like not in operation and it's either a Linux or Windows some kind of error or boot screen and we take a picture of it, put it on social media.
Yep.
So it'd be good to like I think we've always wondered like what if I had an opportunity to like dig into this, what would I find? I think this talk is the answer to that. So
Yeah, I did some looking into that some time ago, and I remember Trent telling me to stop because he didn't want me to get arrested. Like,
yeah, that's largely
wow.
why I haven't done
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
casinos as well.
And
Is that
that's
a
bad if it's
casino?
coming from me
I
to
know
say
that's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
stop.
right?
Like if Trent says not to do it, yeah, I should probably listen. Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
casinos are
I've
the
looked at
same way because the the slot machines are usually actually Linux on the slot machines, and that stems from history. I used to work at a lottery company, and it was at a time when like Linux was a dirty word in
Hmm.
IT. And the team that did the slot machines was like, "What are you talking about? Like, we use Linux." And obviously, that's persisted because I was at a casino literally like last week, and I was like, "Oh, that's a Linux boot screen, huh? Let me take a picture of that." So it's good stuff. DEF CON, I usually don't attend DEF CON talks just because it's such a pain in the butt. And they're usually almost all online pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
After DEF CON, they don't have that year waiting like Black Hat does.
What do you mean a pain in the butt? Like, what do you mean by that?
Like, just getting to the talk, waiting for everyone to get out of the
Yeah.
room, to get into the room, dealing with the crowds, and making sure you're paying attention to the goons and standing where you're supposed to stand. Like, I just find it to be like a stressful experience. And also someone on, I think it was security, cryptography, whatever, was like, yeah, I like DEF CON, like it's awesome, but like, I like to be able to get food and drink
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm at a
Mhm.
conference, which
Mhm.
can be hard, especially if you're in the crowded areas where the talks are happening. You're like, "Man, like, I'm thirsty. I gotta use like a candy bar or something." It's like, "Good luck," you know?
Yeah. Well, it is in
That's
a
my
new
only that's my
Next,
venue.
complaint.
I am shocked at the number of people that do not wear hydration packs or
Mm,
carry bars or anything. Like, I
that's
don't
a
know,
great
every time
great
I go to
tip.
DEF CON, I was
Yep.
tactically prepared
Yes.
because you know you're gonna be in there and I didn't wanna miss things, and I will give a strong shout out to sometimes attending in person because getting to speak to the speaker afterwards
Yes.
is
For
magnificent.
sure.
Like, getting to actually connect with people, like, that is great. Now, I personally am gooning, so I don't get to attend many talks in person.
What
Um,
goon are you?
they're
What goon are you?
I sock
Cool.
I security operations, yeah.
Cool.
But I mean, I will be out yelling at people. It's
Yeah.
just
Well, that's just your personality, right?
I'm just
Not in an
constantly
official capacity,
no,
just out just yelling. Yeah.
no, yeah. It's fascinating, and sometimes I do kind of get to attend talks. I'm glad I get to be in presentations, but to hear them live, but you're usually trying to monitor so many things. It's not like it's the same as just absorbing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm excited for the unsafe lock. This is the vulnerabilities in millions of hotel rooms, over 150,000 hotel rooms. This is the RFID stuff. We talked a little bit about this with Iceman when he was on the show. But they're say in this talk at DEF CON, they'll demonstrate how you can determine if your hotel room has been patched to help ensure your personal safety. So I think we'll get a little more information on the
Yeah.
unsafe lock thing. I don't think they're going to drop like all you have to do is download this firmware with these files and you can bypass any hotel lock. I think for safety reasons, in talking with Iceman, he was like, it doesn't help anyone to do that. But to have something where I can check my hotel lock, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
You
Yeah.
see a
So
lot of
what?
flipper
Yeah.
zeros.
Yeah.
I don't know if the flipper has the right stuff for that.
I think we. Well, I
I
don't
think
know
we're
either. For whatever reason, I thought when we heard that story that we thought that maybe we could use a flipper to do that. I can't recall though.
yeah, I'm not. It's a question for Iceman.
Yeah. Hmm.
He's got that like in his head, dude. Like
For
which
sure.
you're like which things are supported on which hardware devices. So
So where's the money to feeding ATM disk encryption? The first line caught my attention. Holding upwards of $400,000, ATMs continue to be a target. ATMs have 400K in them. I had no idea. We need to change our approach. Let's be criminals
yeah,
and attack some
let's be
ATMs.
criminals and tax them.
Well, this that makes me think of the B-sides talk. There's one about on your Ocean's 11 team, I'm your cyber girl.
No,
I don't remember the
cyber
speaker
guy,
right
and I'm a girl. I love that. That was such a cool
Yeah, yeah,
talk.
yeah.
Yeah, what a creative title. I loved it. Yeah. So I think that one will be
Craziness.
On
neat.
it
Definitely don't want to miss HD.
Yep.
Um, let's see.
I think there's one AMD sync close universal ring -2 privilege escalation. Again, goes to my enamoring of pre OS kernel exploitation. Um, So that looked really, really interesting. Talk about system management mode on AMD. So that's some new research that will be interesting. Steve Sims, SANS instructor, has been on the show before. The rise and fall of binary exploitation.
Yeah, that one seems
I
cool.
used to like really, and like just by the title, I can almost see where he's going. Right, of these protections that we have inside binaries and operating systems now are more prevalent. In fact, even like protections, like I lifted the covers on a small embedded device, and it had um, what is the open source like AV? Is it Bitwarden? No,
No,
Bitwarden is the
Clam AV.
Clam. It had some open source like protection software on it. I was like, I've never seen that on an embedded device before.
Me neither.
So I think I'm interested to see where Steve sees this thing going in terms of binary protections and stuff. Then of course Bluetooth. You got to have some good Bluetooth stuff in there. Exploding Bluetooth from your car to the bank account. Um, I haven't read through the details of that one, but the Bluetooth caught my eye. Always anxious to try new Bluetooth stuff out
For sure.
and get
You think
root on your Android device. Because I have a device that I'm not able to root right now. So anytime I see a new talk on rooting your Android, I'm like, maybe this will be the key to Pandora's box. And this one's the way to Android root exploiting your GPU on your smartphone.
that's that little phone that you have? Is that the one?
The little purple phone has
Yeah.
no known way to get root on it right now.
Mm.
But I did buy a Xiaomi Redmi 7 that does have a path to root. I just got to get around to getting Lineage on it, so then I can put the ridiculous apps that come with the knockoff Flipper Zero IR blaster things. You ever see those little dongles
Yeah.
that you put on your phone? It's an IR blaster.
Yeah.
I have one that I bought from AliExpress, but it wants me to put this Android app in there. I'm like,
No.
not on my regular phone.
Yeah.
I need to.
That's how
I
Did they
they
need
build
get
that?
this.
root. Yeah.
Yeah, I need a burner phone basically to experiment with some of these like ridiculous apps. So,
There's like a badge that they put the IR blaster on one year
mm.
at DEF CON.
Yeah,
Well, I
I wonder
go
what the
ahead, Bill.
badge what the badge culture is going to be like this year. I've seen some hints
I
on
know.
Twitter, and I know that it's going to be there, but I wonder what it's going to be like this year.
It looks like it's really fleshed out. Like they have a lot of capabilities, and they're saying that everything's going to work. Like so, they must be really up on their game. They're touting some serious technology here.
Are there
So
any details on the DEF CON badge this year?
so we know that it's going to be electronic this year,
And
right?
that's like
Hmm.
it.
And I think that's all that I've been tracking. I don't know if anybody else has been watching any of that.
Yeah, they had posted something the other day, and I can't find it right off the top.
Yeah, I mean that's always like a thing, right?
Hmm.
At the conferences, like,
Almost always.
do you want to do the badge hacking thing or not? Like, I feel like it's a commitment, right?
It
It
is
needs to be a,
certainly
a, a low
Yes.
enough entry that to get people involved. Like Bill and I have always discussed that. This is probably like the very beginning. We're like, it would be great if they just gave everyone a badge that was just all parts, but then you'd have the individuals that would want to solder it, and then you have people just walking around with like a blank badge, and like
Hmm.
I'm not getting involved.
Right. Making of the DEF CON 32 badge, Mar Williams, Friday at 1600
cool.
in track one.
Yeah, that's always a really good talk to attend, as well as the keynote from Jeff Moss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I always like about the badge talk is just hearing all the supply chain issues that happen
Hmm.
every single year, right?
Yep.
And I think that it's
Well,
a
because you're making how many 10, like a 10, you're making, how many are they making? Probably 10,000 at least. How many
way more
electronic
than
badges?
that, probably 30,000, right?
You think they're making that many electronic? Usually they run out. Well, they used to run out of the electronic ones and then you get the piece of plastic, right?
Yeah, yeah, they still have they had
Mhm.
those problems last year, right? So they were missing, boxes of shipments even on the
Hmm.
first day, like but
Mhm.
those talks are always really interesting to me just as somebody who likes to build my own hardware and those kind of things, hearing
Right.
supply chain issues where like, where there was the year where Lost created the badge, and he made them out of titanium, and DEFCON decreased the titanium supply of the world by like
Wow,
40% or something, and
that's crazy.
yeah,
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 spike
yeah,
and
right, like
cost. Yeah,
yeah, it's
we have
those things are
fluctuating markets with DEF CON.
yeah,
With DEFCON badges,
that's
that's
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah, those are always really cool for me. I just to see like what it takes to make 30,000 of something, right? And the
Right.
issues that happen.
So many villages. Um, I know just from like inside knowledge, I think they capped new villages, and I was like, it's probably because they have enough villages, and some of them
Mm,
could almost overlap. But this year, there's 33 villages
Wow.
at DEF CON, which is a huge part of the show. I mean, I think a lot of people's like primary time and resources go towards a village
absolutely.
Yeah.
at DEF CON, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
set out last year
I
as a
definitely
goal to
I feel
try
the
to get to
same.
all the villages because for years I come home and like, wait, there was a village. What about what?
mhm,
Where? Which which casino was it in? So, which
right.
begs the question: this year with a new venue, are things more centrally located in terms of all the villages?
I know they have more space. I don't really know. Like like I was talking to Grifter about some of the area, but he just says that they're going to have a lot of space, but we just need to figure out how to use it. Just because when we get there, in our minds or in their minds, they're like, oh, this is how we're going to have people flow,
Hmm.
and it turns into something else that they didn't realize. Like I think one year, the escalators was a problem because people couldn't move, and people are just trapped on the escalators being pushed into more people, and then luckily someone was smart enough, like, we need to stop these and use them as stairs.
Mm,
Yeah, so I'm looking at the map, Jeff, and it
That
does
happened.
look like so if you go on the DEF CON site, you can see the map, and it does look like contest vendors, villages, and the tracks are all in the same venue this year.
so they're
That's
in
cool.
the convention
Hmm.
center?
Hmm.
They're on the convention center, yeah.
That's
That's going to
cool.
be amazing.
I mean, I guess they were more or less all together last year in that other venue,
Hmm.
so that's probably a good thing. But a couple years ago when it was like Planet Hollywood and Paris and Bali and
Yeah, that was tough,
Caesars,
man.
and
That
I
was
was like,
tough.
That
just couldn't
Yeah,
was
get
because
around
you
to
don't
all
want
of
to
it.
leave one area because you're not going to be able to get back in based on the people. So like, I'm really hoping that this kind of solves that problem.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
definitely
think
take a
that
look at the map if you're going. I can't where are the villages?
Yeah,
Right
and,
there in
and just so you're aware, the map is also, I believe, built into the hacker tracker, so that can
cool.
also
Mm,
help you
should be
kind
in
of plan out
yeah.
your day as well.
Cool. Yeah, it looks like right there in the middle of the West Hall
yeah,
level one. Yeah. I'm
I
sure that they're
see.
going to be spread out as well. But so Jeff, to your point, I always try and make it a point to go visit the Blue Team Village. It's hard to see them all, and it was shocking to me. That was like a conference to itself, right? It
Mhm.
was there was
It is.
there was a whole other conference going on inside this conference. So I agree. It's worth visiting those villages.
Yeah, they're definitely not all the same size. I want to say I discovered last year a PCI village.
Whoa.
It might have been more like compliance or something like that, but I swear to God, I walked past and it was a very small room with not a lot of people in it. I'm like, wait a minute, they're talking about PCI, even
Sounds
at DEF CON,
intriguing.
doesn't it?
You heard it
Well,
here
I would
first. Make
definitely
sure you visit the compliance village at DEF CON.
Maybe you can play me at the pool party and I can dunk you once or twice, Bill.
Hell yeah.
There's like
I
overlap
don't know why
though.
we're fighting. Let's not fight.
Who said anything about fighting? You're just dissing PCI.
uh,
But
right,
there's
right.
like it's weird though. There's like the embedded systems village, the IoT village, the radio frequency village. Like those are all pretty close together. And those would be the villages I'd be most interested
So
in.
so where does the wall of sheep land in all of that?
If only you were
Is
coming.
that still that's still a thing, right?
It's still a thing, yeah. I
Yeah,
just saw their like new sponsors for this year and stuff. Like it is definitely going.
like that's always
It's in the packet hacking village.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
that
correct.
and
Okay.
the social engineering, those are always entertaining to watch.
Mm. No,
Make it
That's
agreed.
different, and I'll
and
definitely
and
call out biohacking because the biohacking village is near and dear to my heart, and really usually brings it as far as content and activities. That's fantastic. I personally love Quantum Village and ICS Village.
And we need a whole city to ourselves and just have it just go
Mm,
all year round. And um, because all of those things are things that I would want to attend, but you
yeah, you
literally
can't.
don't, you just
You
can't.
can't.
Yeah.
You can't see
Well,
everything at DEF CON for sure.
no.
no, it's too big now.
And too many
And before
rules.
we move on,
That's true.
I want to jump back to any that are there earlier in the week. If
Disobey.
anybody is there, huh?
That was
Nothing. Go
making a
ahead.
plug on
I didn't
Bill.
hear what you said. I'm
No, I
sorry.
was telling Bill to disobey
Yeah.
the old DEF CON theme.
Oh, okay. But in Hacker Tracker, the Diana Initiative conference is listed, and uh, that conference, where it's focused for underrepresented persons in cybersecurity and getting into hacking, is held on Monday the 5th, and we're hosting a dinner for neurodivergent individuals on Sunday the 4th. Since I am hosting it and that's what my heart is all about, I definitely recommend checking it out. But checking out the talks at Diana Initiative, they will be streamed, they will be available. And then there is also going to be Diana Initiative representation at DEF CON. And so look at that on Hacker Tracker. If you aren't able to be there Monday to participate in the Diana Initiative, then definitely come support us at DEF CON for the Diana Initiative itself.
I wanted to talk about the vendor area and offer at least one tip. Hacker Warehouse is one of the best like vendor areas to visit. Get all your hacker gadgets. But here's what happens: if there's a talk at DEF CON where they mention a specific hardware hacking device, after that talk, there is like a mad dash to the Hacker Warehouse area in the vendor area, their booth in the vendor area, and everyone goes to try and buy that one device. So get ahead of it, see which talks might be happening at which time, and then go buy your stuff before that because it guarantee they're going to sell out
Yeah.
when that happens. So
Or a 2 hour line, right? Like,
yeah,
so, yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Hmm.
you have to fill out like your order on a piece of paper while you're in line, and then you hand it to them. So check out the website first, know what you want, and then go pick it up and pick up some stuff for me too. While you guys are there,
What are you
that's
interested? What are you
great.
interested in right now, Paul?
I don't know. There's not a lot that I don't have or have some knockoff from AliExpress to replace it. So yeah, I guess I could use some official, HackRF stuff. Get the official one. The iCopy looks
Like,
really cool too. iCopy.
and I think we need to call out the lockpicking at every conference. Like, let people know that those. And did you know at Black Hat, I have not participated, but in lockpicking, they're going to have the Lego championships, like Masters, going on at Black Hat in lockpicking. I think that sounds fantastic.
Huh.
Yeah,
You
I
can
know.
win a
Is it Tool?
knock
Tool has a
Lego.
there's a physical security village which is also listed as being in the vendor area, and then there's Sparrow's Lockpicks is the other one.
Mhm.
I always try and visit those and pick up some lock picking tools as well. It's usually something I purchase
Agreed.
when I'm there. And Tool will be there as well.
Yeah. It looks like Tool will be at the Lockpick Village, right?
Also, hardware hacking stuff. Check out Electronic Cat. I don't know that they've exhibited before at DEF CON, but they're based in Mexico, and it says open source hardware is designed and assembled with a focus on InfoSec products widely used like Magic Spoof, Cat Sniffer, and Hunter Cat. And I want to say I've ordered some stuff for my flipper from them
Hmm.
recently. It was like a CC 1101 add-on with something else. Yeah, but they make some really cool stuff. Um, I don't remember what I ordered from them, but they make really awesome stuff. So check them out as well.
Well, in hacker boxes, I haven't gotten. I don't. Does anybody have experience with hacker boxes?
I've looked at them and I've not pulled the trigger,
Yeah,
but it looks really super cool.
I agree. So, for those listening, that's a monthly subscription box. so you get a tool or a component or a project, things to work on.
I think if you're going to buy anything, you should buy a DEF CON Parties t-shirt. That's what you should
There you
buy.
go.
Yeah.
Definitely buy one of those.
Yes. This year's shirt has, the legacy of all the other shirts that we've designed over the years. So you can get all the shirts in one.
It's
Oh, I
awesome.
will say for DEF CON this year, there is a very, very, very unofficial sticker swap, that will be going on. But reminder that Las Vegas Convention Center is even more cutthroat on trespassing anybody who places a sticker on any of their property.
Yeah. Which is going to be a big problem, right? That's
Yeah.
going to be an issue
Yeah.
this year for sure. If
I
they're
mean,
warning us already.
they are warning because they usually don't allow stickers at all, and they are making an exception for this one time. But it is pretty hefty on you will be trespassed if you
Oh, so interesting
choose
is
to
I want
stick
to go
them.
back to Electronic Cats. It looks like you can pre-order on their website and pick it up at DEF CON.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's cool.
So it says to enable pickup at DEF CON, option select country, United States, state, Nevada in the billing form, and you can pick it up. And I ordered their $35 sub gigahertz add-on, which gives you another CC1101 and adds LoRa SX1272 chip. That's why I bought it, because I'm like, well, if I can sniff or mess with LoRa, I thought that would be pretty cool. Because Larry's and others are looking like doing actual work with it, and I just want to mess with them. So I bought this. It's real. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I was like, oh, LoRa support on my flipper. Yes, I
Yeah.
want that. And $35 for an add-on board is right around where you should be.
Yeah.
Don't go spending. There's some that are listed on like Tindy and eBay and Etsy that are like over $100. Like, keep in mind, like an 1101 is you can get for like 5 cents on Alibaba, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, don't overspend on your flipper add-ons.
Well, so
So
I'm planning on being there, through Wednesday through Sunday. So if anybody wants to come say hello, just please come up, say hello to me. I'd love to meet everybody there while we're there. I'm really looking forward to being there this year. It's gonna be a fun year for sure.
yeah, we'll have stickers and tattoos.
Nice.
Nice.
It's hilarious. It's awesome.
And I will be there. I'll be around Black Hat, but probably not inside of it. But definitely Diana Initiative, B-Sides, and DEF CON. Same thing. Happy to meet, talk, connect.
Paul,
Happy to
Outstanding.
have you. Huh?
What's that, Trent?
I said, Paul, I'm disappointed I won't see you. So
I
maybe we'll
know.
exchange some photos, that like we typically do.
Yes, we should definitely exchange photos like we typically do.
Out.
Yes.
I'm out. I don't want to do it.
Oh no, you're in. Whether you like it or not, you're in.
Yeah, you're getting in the group chat.
group photos. I'm even more out.
And
I mean, they're usually
this is
they're
where,
usually pretty crappy photos. So
They
just,
are.
Yes,
throwing that out there.
100%.
yeah, and this is where I am glad to be an outsider in that group. I'm fine.
Yes.
With
Type
Most
of
people
shit
are.
you don't want to get into.
That's right. Well, awesome. Well, Trent, thanks for coming on. Bill, Mandy, I know Jeff had to drop, but thanks. I think this is good information for people that are going to the conference, and have fun. And we'll see everyone next time. Over and out.